The Fresno Nightcrawlers, while popular, aren't quite as well known as other infamous cryptids like the Bigfoot, Mothman, or the Loch Ness Monster. But despite this, they have become a pop culture icon with any product you could imagine featuring them. But with so little evidence of them, their existence is widely debated. I mean, that is kind of the whole point. But from sentient pants to a deer on its lunch break, they could be anything, or they could be nothing at all. And after looking at all the evidence I could find on them, I came up with a theory of my own. Hi, hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Now this is the second cryptid I'm covering on my channel, but me and these little guys go way back. When I was in age, I drew a picture of them and entered it into the local fair, which looking back on it kind of sucked, and I have no idea how it won blue, but it did. But myself and many other artists on the internet have been inspired by the Nightcrawlers ever since they were first introduced to the internet. I mean, look at them. They're just little guys. How could you not want to draw them? And they're just like a half circle with two legs. It's so easy. It's like the best doodle you could ever do. Anyways, so today I am going to be digging into the legend of the Fresno Nightcrawlers and destroy child me in a time-bending art contest. Although as confident as I am in my abilities, I don't think I can compete with the mood of this guy. The first recorded sighting of the Fresno Nightcrawlers was in 2007 on a household security camera. One night, Jose woke up to his dogs barking outside. He got up to go check the security cameras in the front yard to try and see what his dogs were yapping about, but instead of a trespasser or a rogue squirrel, he found a horrible being traipsing through his property instead. Obviously terrified by the sentient pants that just walked through his lawn, he woke up his brother to look at the camera footage too. And after going outside to check, his brother said he saw tiny footprints in the yard. The creatures in the video were described as short, which is rude, mostly made of leg, thin, and no discernible arms. Now, the footage of this sighting makes me nauseous, so I don't want to have to look at it for longer than I have to. But I have shown clips of it, and the video is linked in the description for you if you want to check it out. But be warned, it's real spooky, okay? So watch at your own discretion. There's another supposed sighting in Yosemite National Park that happened in 2011 on a trail camera. This video shows two figures that resemble the creatures in the original sighting meandering through the woods with a very odd gait. Gait as in walk, like they had a really weird walk, not like they were carrying a really weird gait, just want to clarify. But there's also another video from someone in Poland that features them, but the footage is really shaky. And the most recent sighting of the walking pants was in Billings, Montana in 2020, which was on another security camera. Lots of security footage with this one. But I wasn't able to find the footage from that sighting though. Now, there are more possible sightings of the Nightcrawlers in Ohio, but I personally don't think that these are connected. Let me explain. The Carmel area creature is a creature that has been spotted in the Carmel, Ohio area. It's described as a 7-foot-tall, slender gray creature with backwards bending knees. Now that description doesn't sound anything like the Fresno Nightcrawlers. The Nightcrawlers are short, white, and from what we can tell, have forward bending knees. So in my opinion, the Carmel area creature sightings are not related to the Nightcrawler sightings. And honestly, I think they're just birds. Like the backwards bending legs was kind of a kicker for me. And especially in this depiction of it, the legs look a lot like bird legs. And birds, especially large birds like cranes, look freaky at night. If I saw a crane at night, I would totally think it was a weird creature. And Ohio has a native crane. They have the sandhill crane that lives there. And if you remember Mothman's story, sandhill cranes already have a record of possibly getting mistaken for mystical creatures. So in my opinion, the Carmel area creature is probably just a crane. I feel very passionate about cranes getting mistaken for monsters all the time because it's kind of unfair to the cranes. I mean, yeah, they're scary, but like, not every crane is an alien. Come on, guys. But I felt like I should mention this because if you look into them on your own, the Carmel area creature and the Fresno Nightcrawlers are talked about in the same spaces a lot. And so you're gonna stumble across them and be like, oh, well, why didn't you mention these other sightings? I did mention them. I don't think they're relevant. I don't think the Fresno Nightcrawler sightings have anything to do with the Carmel area creature. But if you feel otherwise, feel free to let me know. So since we're disregarding the Carmel area creature, there isn't a lot of information on the Nightcrawlers. There are lots of scattered claims of sightings and lots of fake footage, so it's kind of hard to discern what could possibly be an actual sighting. But throughout all of the different sightings and all of the different stories, there are consistencies. They're described as short, about 1.5 meters or 4 foot for all the Murricans out there. They're mostly made of leg with no head and no discernible arms. And by far the most important piece of information that comes straight from the cryptid wiki says that their population is at least 2. So we know that there are at least 2 of them out there. So with the description of the Fresno Nightcrawlers fresh in our minds, and our extensive knowledge on their possible population, let's get into the different theories of what these guys are. We have the obvious ones. They could be aliens, interdimensional beings, or maybe a new species, possibly a new kind of monkey with short T-Rex arms. I don't like that last one because I'm not a fan of monkeys, but it's the same roster of the usual theories. As for the more, I guess, normal theories, they're also pretty basic. One is that it's fake, obviously. Some think it could be a puppet or a person wearing super big pants pretending to be an alien. But I think my personal favorite of the it's fake theories is that it could be a balloon tied to some fabric with 2 remote-controlled toy cars as feet, which is so insanely creative, and I kind of want to try it to see if it would work. I actually think my grandpa has a remote-controlled toy car, and then I think we got another one for Christmas. So that's 2 remote-controlled toy cars. Now all I need is a balloon and some fabric, and I'll have my own Nightcrawler. I should do the old school YouTube thing where I make it a sub goal. Like, if we hit 4,000 subs, I'm gonna make my own Nightcrawler. Anyways, the next theories you have is that it's just a misidentified animal. A bird is the most obvious one. We talked about birds a lot earlier. But another animal it could possibly be is a deer. Now I know what you're thinking. Deer don't look like that. Deer have 4 legs and don't wear pants. And you're right, they don't, when they're all on all 4s. But sometimes they do stand on their hind legs to eat from trees. And when they do that, they still don't look like Fresno Nightcrawlers. But they do kind of look like our friend Carmel area. But while the deer theory is very interesting, I feel like the roster of theories aren't as juicy as they are with other cryptids. I mean, Mothman has a whole Harbinger of Death story arc, and the Nightcrawlers have deer stand on hind legs. That's it. There is a possible tie to Native American folklore, but that's been disproven, so there isn't any folklore to tie these creatures to. There's just no really good theories, in my opinion. Yeah, aliens are cool, but there are so many things that could be aliens. Octopus could be aliens. Anteaters could be aliens. Literally anything could be aliens. I want a theory that isn't aliens. So I went back through my research. I pored over my 2 pages of notes, and I discovered something. Pants. The connection is pants. It was pants the whole time. The Fresno Nightcrawlers aren't creatures that look like pants. They are creatures wearing pants. I present to you, the Fresno Nightcrawlers are the pants and gnomes version of raccoons in a trench coat theory. My theory is that the Fresno Nightcrawlers are just gnomes stacked on top of each other in a pair of pants that they use to travel inconspicuously. Obviously, they can't have humans knowing that gnomes exist, so they have to disguise themselves when traveling through residential areas or areas with cameras. So they stack on top of each other with 1 stack in each pant leg. The top 2 gnomes hold the pants up while they walk, and they travel in pairs in case their pants fall down and they need help pulling them back up. This would explain the weird walk. A stack of gnomes wouldn't walk like regular legs, they would walk like a stack of gnomes. This would also explain the tiny footprints in the yard of the first sighting of the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Now you may be wondering, well, why don't they just not travel through places that have cameras? Well, they would, but cameras are kind of everywhere. In the woods, there's trail cams. In urban areas, there's security cameras. And in a lot of residential areas where the majority of security cameras are built in areas that were once woods, which is the gnomes' natural territory. That's right, this is a call out to logging companies and deforestation. We are invading the gnomes' natural territory and forcing them to take drastic measures to travel without being noticed. Another question you may be asking is, well, if this is a common mode of transportation for gnomes, why aren't they caught more on cameras? And my answer to that is this is only how gnomes move in large groups. Assuming that each gnome is at least 1 foot tall, you would need 8 gnomes to fill 1 pair of 4 foot tall pants. And since they commonly travel in pairs, that means there would be 16 gnomes at least. That's a lot of gnomes. And gnomes are a generally solitary species, so they rarely travel in groups that large unless it's an emergency. It makes perfect sense. So that's my theory about what the Fresno Nightcrawlers are. I think it's a pretty airtight theory, but if you have questions or want to try to debunk it, feel free. I have thought about this far too much, so I guarantee you that if you have a question, I will have an answer. Theories and speculation aside, the Fresno Nightcrawlers have captured the hearts of many across the internet. I mean, come on, look at them. They're little guys that look like pants. How could you not love them? There is every kind of Nightcrawler merch you could imagine, and many artists, myself included obviously, are endlessly inspired by these funky little guys. Whether they're an alien, or a deer that got caught on its lunch break, or 8 gnomes stacked in columns of 4 in a pants disguise for emergency gnome transportation, the Fresno Nightcrawlers are a lovable and mysterious legend that will continue to inspire all who see their little funky pants-shaped self. If you've made it this far and survived my gnome theory, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to share your own theories, or if you have a personal experience with the Nightcrawlers, feel free to share those in the comments. I would love to chat with you guys about these little dudes. But thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye bye!